Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Sarah and in today's video I'll be showing you how to crochet a kitty. In today's tutorial I'll just be showing you how to make a solid colored kitty like this one or like this one. If you're interested in the color changes already thought out for you, go ahead and check out the written pattern in the description. I have a calico, tabby, and then the different colors for the nose and the feet. Those are all in the written pattern, so if you'd like to have those easy, you can go ahead and check it out. To begin, you're going to need some yarn. So I will be using this Chanel Home Slim today in the color Country Blue. And we're gonna go for like a Russian blue type colored cat. And then you'll also need some safety eyes. I believe these are 18mm, but I'll have the correct size in the material list for you. I will be using some acrylic yarn to shape the face and to start all my magic rings. So if you're interested in that method, I have a Chanel Tricks up there for you. You can check it out. And then you'll also need a small bit of color for your nose if you want to add one. And then if you want to add some white around the eye, you can definitely add that too. You will also need some stuffing. And then for tools, you're going to need your scissors, a crochet hook. I am using a 5mm hook. You also need a sewing needle or two. I'm gonna use this plastic one for the Chanel yarn and then this big long metal one for face shaping. It makes it a little bit easier having such a long needle for that. And then if you need a stitch marker, go ahead and grab one. Before we get into crocheting, I do have a quick disclaimer though. This pattern is a little tedious. It's on the intermediate side. So if you're a beginner, please pause the video when you need it, slow down, take breaks if you're starting to get frustrated too. This pattern as an advanced crocheter also frustrates me a little bit. So don't feel bad if you're a little stressed by it. But once you get the hang of it, you start to understand it and it works up faster the next time. I do crochet pretty fast, so be prepared for that. Just don't be afraid to pause it. Like I said, replay it, slow it down. Now we can get into the crocheting part. So we're gonna actually start with the arms. And for this, I'm gonna be using some acrylic to start my magic ring. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut 2 strips, one for each arm. And for the arms, we're gonna start with a magic ring with 8 single crochets in it. Go ahead and close up your magic ring. And then for the next 3 rounds, we're going to single crochet in each stitch around. So you'll have 8 stitches per round. You're going to repeat that for 3 rounds. I like to, once the first round is finished, secure my magic ring and then fold it right side out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just pull everything nice and tight and tie it together. And then I'll turn the piece right side out and finish those single crochet rounds. Once you're done with your 3 single crochet rounds, we're going to go ahead and decrease and then single crochet 2, and we'll repeat that twice. We're going to take our stitch count down to 6. And then for the next round, we're going to single crochet in each stitch, so single crochet 6 times. And now we're going to go ahead and stuff this lightly. Now if you did any color changes, you probably don't need to stuff it, but you just need a little bit of stuffing in there. just like that, kind of leaving a little bit of space in the top here unstuffed. So now we're going to go ahead and close up this arm by crocheting through both sides, so fold it in half, and you're just going to single crochet 3 across. Just like that, and there is our first arm finished. You can go ahead and chain 1, fasten off. You just need not a super long tail, but around like a medium size. We'll just need this for a few reinforcing stitches later on. And now we're going to repeat this arm for a second time, so go ahead and repeat it, and then we can start on the head. And there's the second arm complete, and if you can hear the cat yowling in the background, she is playing with a toy. And it seems pretty fitting for this video. I think I'm gonna go quieter down though. I'm back, the cat is hopefully gonna stay quiet. Now we can begin the head. For the head, we're gonna start very similarly to the arms. So you're gonna take a bit of acrylic yarn. Now I forgot to mention earlier, but if you have a method that you prefer, chain 2 method or just a normal magic ring, you can go ahead and use that method instead for this entire pattern. It's not gonna make any difference. For this first round, we're going to single crochet 6. Go ahead and close up that magic ring or your chain 2 method, whatever you use. For round 2, you're going to increase in each stitch around, or 6 times. And that's the end of round 2. You should have 12 stitches around. For round 3, we're going to increase and then single crochet and repeat that 6 times or all the way around. Go ahead and place your stitch marker here as well if you need to keep track of the beginning of your round. And here is the end of round 3. You should have 18 stitches around. For round 4, you will increase single crochet 2 and repeat that 6 times or all the way around. Here is our final increase round for the head finished. You should have 24 single crochets around, and I'll go ahead and secure this middle magic ring before continuing on. Same with the arms, just give it a couple of secure knots. This will just help it stay tight over time, not loosen as quickly. Especially through wear and tear, it will open up. So you want to give it a few knots on the back side so it won't be able to do that, at least very easily. So now we're going to single crochet in each stitch around for 2 rounds. You should have 24 stitches. Like I said earlier, mark your end of round if you need to. And go ahead and single crochet for 2 rounds. Here's the end of the 2 single crochet rounds. This is the top of the head coming together now. For this next round, we're going to single crochet 10, and then we will increase 4 times in a row, and then we'll single crochet 10 once again. So start with that single crochet of 10. Now we're going to increase 4 times, so in the next 4 stitches, 2 single crochets each. And this is starting to form the cheeks. And once those 4 increases are finished, go ahead and single crochet in the last 10 stitches. And now we are going to single crochet in each stitch around. Here's the end of that single crochet round. You should have 28 stitches at this point, and this is what we're looking like. This is the front of the plushie where the cheeks will be going. So now the next round is a decrease round, but we're actually going to put our safety eyes in first. Just a little bit easier to do it now, but you could also wait until you add the arms if you really want to make sure it's super centered. But let me go grab the eyes real quick and then we can put them in. Found my eyes, they're right here. Got the front and then the backs. For all of you watching, we're going to continue crocheting up to this point. Just be aware, the eye placement is wrong. You put it one round lower, which I'm going to remove mine and then show you what it's supposed to look like. But for that section there, for the body, the eyes are a little off. And here are the eyes fixed. This is where they are supposed to go. The eyes are supposed to go between rounds 6 and 7, not 5 and 6. Between the last single crochet round and the first increase round. This is the way it should look. Go ahead and follow the pattern up into the bottom of the body again, and we'll get back to crocheting. Now the eyes are on. So for our next round, we are going to decrease 5 times, and then we're going to do a special decrease, which I'll show you how to do it. So go ahead and decrease 5 times. I'm just using the invisible decrease here. And then our special decrease is where we're going to pick up 3 stitches. Now if you're using a regular decrease, you'll just insert into the next stitch. So first one, the second one, and then the third one. For the invisible decrease, I'm just going to go ahead and pick up all 3 of these back loops and then pull through all of them and finish that single crochet. In the next stitch, you're just going to do a normal decrease. And then in that next stitch, we'll repeat that special decrease with 3. Just like that, and then we're going to go ahead and decrease 5 more times. So at this point you should have 13 stitches. It's kind of an odd number, but we will correct that in our next couple of rounds. So here's what we're looking like so far. You can see it's still looking a little strange, but we're gonna do some face shaping in the end where we'll sink the eyes in and pull the cheeks together so they have that shape. Let's go ahead and move on to the next round. I like to wait to stuff until after the arms are on. If you have a hard time stuffing, you can do it now, but I just prefer to wait. So that's what I'm going to do. For this next round, we're going to single crochet in each stitch. So single crochet 13 times. There's our single crochet round finished. For the next round, we're actually going to be attaching the arms. Now this isn't fully securing them, but it'll make it easier to finish them later since they'll already be placed. So what we're going to do is we're going to increase in the next 3 stitches. We're going to single crochet into the next stitch. And now in these next 6 stitches, we're actually going to attach the arms. So the way we do this is by taking our arm, and you're going to take this right side and put it against the body. So the wrong side will be facing you. Keep the end of the arm on the outside, this little extra bit here, leave it on the outside of the body, we'll use it later. What you're going to do is you're going to single crochet through the arm and then through the next stitch of the body. Just go ahead and single crochet, and you'll repeat that for the next 3 stitches total for this arm. And then we're going to go right ahead and join the next arm in the exact same way in the next 3 stitches. So wrong side facing up towards you with the arms up towards the head. We're going to join by single crocheting through both the arm and the body as if it were one stitch. And now we're going to go ahead and single crochet in the next stitch and increase in the last 2 stitches. So here's what we're looking like so far. The arms are attached. Mine are slightly off, but with the face shaping, we'll be able to correct that. And then when we reinforce the arms, you can also correct that. Now for the next round, we're going to single crochet in each stitch. At this point, you should have 18 stitches. For this next round, round 13, we're going to increase and then we're going to single crochet 2 times. We'll repeat that 6 times or all the way around. Now we're going to go ahead and single crochet in each stitch around for 3 rounds, and at this point you should have 24 stitches. So go ahead and single crochet in each stitch around for 3 rounds. If you like, you can stuff the head now. I will be stuffing right after the single crochet rounds. And here's the end of our single crochet round. So now I'm going to go ahead and stuff. At this point you can also start stuffing the body a little bit too, because we're going to get right into the decrease rounds after this stuffing. For the next round of the body, we're going to decrease in each stitch around, and when you're finished, you should have 12 decreases. there's the end of that round, and now I'm going to go ahead and finish stuffing the body. Here's what the kitty is looking like once stuffed. I think I might stuff it a tiny bit more after the next round, but we'll see. So for the next round, we're going to decrease 6 times. Once you finish your decreases, go ahead and slip stitch, chain 1 and fasten off, leaving a length of yarn just long enough to close up that bottom hole. And there we go. If you feel like your plushie needs more stuffing, go ahead and add it now. Mine needs a tiny bit more, which I'm going to go ahead and add. I think that's pretty well stuffed for this kitty. So now I'm gonna go ahead and close up this bottom hole real quick. So you're going to pick up all the front loops and pull it shut, and then secure it with a knot and weave it in. There we go. Now our bottom is sewn shut, looking pretty nice. And now we're going to secure the arms real quick and get rid of these ends, kind of give us some room to sew the rest of the pieces on. So I like to sew the legs like this, so flat with the body, and then right next to each other with barely any space between. So the way I like to do this is we'll start with the first one here. We're just going to reinforce the top part of this foot real quick. So I'm going to go right in to the body and just reinforce this spot right here, just by picking up some loops and stitching across underneath the arm. And once you're happy, you're going to take that end all the way down to the bottom of the body. So I like to be between the first decrease round and that last single crochet round. And we're just going to go ahead and secure this foot flat. Now you could leave it loose if you want to, but I think it looks better when it's stitched down. So that's what I will be doing. I'm going to go ahead and pick up one of the stitches at the bottom of the foot and just sew a couple of stitches here to keep it secure. Try not to sew the sides down. I found that if you sew these sides down, it loses its shape a bit. So just do the top and the bottom just to secure the arms. Then I'm going to bring this end out over here and just drop it here for now. And when I get to the other leg, I'll just tie these two ends together and then weave them in together. So for the other leg, we're going to sew it on in the same way, just reinforce the bottom here and then sew it to the base of the body. And then I like to tie these two ends together and weave them in together, just to make it a little bit easier. There are the front arms secure, so now I'm going to go ahead and tie these together and then weave them in. And there we go. So now we're going to add the ears on, and then after that we'll shape the face, and then we will finish the lower body. For the ears, we're going to start with a slip knot onto our hook. You just need a short end, doesn't need to be too long. And then we're going to join. We're going to start on the right side of the head, so our right. Our first slip stitch is going to be right above the eye, just about here. I'm not quite sure why the camera is overexposed. I'm sorry. Hopefully you guys can still see it well enough. You want to be about 2 stitches away from the eye with your first slip stitch. Now in the next stitch, so we're going to go right into here, we're going to single crochet. Then we are going to double crochet. Then we're going to triple crochet, yarn over twice. And then we're going to double crochet again. And then finally single crochet. So this is a pretty tight squeeze, but I'm confident you guys can get in there. Now we're going to skip that next round and go right into this second round and slip stitch. Kind of stretch the ear out a little bit going up. And at this point you can adjust the ear so that it is a little sharper. Now I'm going to go ahead and chain 1, which I already did apparently, and then we're going to fasten off with a short end. And now we're going to repeat this on the other side, but we're going to have to go from the top down. That way the right side of the ear is still facing forward. So go ahead and make a slip knot onto your hook. And then we're going to trace this round where we slip stitched and go ahead and slip stitch in it again on the other side. So you want to kind of observe where your slip stitch lines up with the eye. I think I should go 1 stitch back and it'll line up a little bit better. You can see both sides line up a little bit better. So now I'm going to place my slip stitch here. And now we're going to skip that round and go right into the next one. So this is the next round here. It's a little tight of a squeeze here, and then we'll trace it if you want to as well. You're going to single crochet, double crochet, triple crochet, and then double crochet again, and then finally single crochet. And then into that next stitch, we'll slip stitch, chain 1 and fasten off, leaving a short end. And there are the kitty ears. So now we're gonna weave in those ends real quick. I like to do first by knotting them. So what I'll do is I'll insert my hook through the back middle and then bring the tails from the back to this spot here. Pull nice and tight to get rid of that slip stitch, or your chain one might be showing a little bit. So just pulling these in kind of cleans up the ear a tiny bit. And there we are. You can see the difference. This one's got a little bit of a bump here from the chain one, and then this one is tucked in over here. So now we're going to tie these two together and then just weave them in. Don't tie them too tightly. You don't want to sink the ear in too much. You just want it tight enough that that little knot on the each end comes into the piece a little bit. So go ahead and repeat that on the other side using your hook, pull it through. Try not to grab stuffing while you do this. You can always use a needle as well and avoid stuffing. There we are. And I'm going to tie these two together as well. Just like so. And now we can weave in both those ends, or all four of those ends even. And there are the ears finished. So now we're gonna go ahead and shape the face. We're gonna sink the eyes in, and then we're gonna add a little bit more detail to those cheeks. So to do that, I'm gonna be using my dark blue acrylic, but you can use any size 4 yarn, or even the same yarn type should work just fine. What I'm gonna do is start from the top and bring it down, and we're gonna be about center with the cheeks. Think about here is good at the bottom of the chin. Pull up a length of yarn, and then right in between the center of the eyes where we will insert our needle. And we're going to go through this same spot twice. So go through the first time and pull tight. Pull with that top loop there. You can see it starting to sink in a bit. Now I will do that one more time, and then instead of taking the end back down, we're going to take it to one of the eyes. And there's the cheeks. It looks a little incomplete right now because we still have to add the nose, but we'll add the nose in just a second once we finish shaping the face. Now you could leave it like this. I prefer the eyes to be sunk in a little bit, and it just makes it look a little bit nicer in my opinion. But if you don't want to do this step, go ahead and avoid it or ignore it. So I'm going to go ahead and start at the bottom of the eye. Just pick up one of those stitches, pull tight enough that that end disappears and you can't see it anymore. And you'll repeat this on the other side as well. And then go back up to the top of the eye. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull these both tight until they sink in a bit. Just like that. And then I'm going to repeat this process on the top of the eye as well. Place a stitch and pull. And do the same thing on this side. And then the final place I'm going to do this is on the side of the eye, just because I feel like I need it. Depending on where you place these, you might not need to do it 3 times. And then we're going to go ahead and take this end all the way back up to the other one, and we'll tie them together. So before you tie them together, just go ahead and adjust everything. If you're using the acrylic yarn, you should be able to pull and move things around. With the chenille yarn, it's a little bit harder, but I think you'll still be able to do it. So that is the face now. The eyes are sunk in and the cheeks are formed. It's not showing up too well on camera, but it is there in real life. So now I'm going to tie these two ends together. Here's the head finished. Same with this one, you can add a little bit of white if you want to around the eye, whatever you'd prefer. But let's start with the tail. For that, I'm going to be using some acrylic yarn to start. And we're going to start our magic ring with 6 single crochets. Once you're finished, close up that magic ring. Now for the next 8 rounds, we're going to single crochet in each stitch around. So I'm going to do my first single crochet round and then secure those ends and then turn it right side out and then finish the rest of the single crochets. Here's the end of those 8 single crochet rounds. So I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into the next stitch, chain 1 and fasten off, leaving a length of yarn for sewing. This one also doesn't have to be too long since the stitch count on the tail isn't actually that big. So at this point you could stuff your tail. I'm actually going to leave it unstuffed. Actually, I think I'll stuff it just a tiny bit. It doesn't need to be hard packed at all, just a little bit of stuffing in there. If you do any color changes in here, you probably won't need any stuffing either. So keep that in mind. There is the tail finished. We're gonna go ahead and set this aside and then finish the back legs. The same with the arms. We're gonna start with acrylic. And in our magic ring, we're going to single crochet 8 times. Cut this one really short apparently. Once that single crochet round is finished, close up your magic ring. And then for the next 3 rounds, we're going to single crochet in each stitch. And go ahead and secure my ends real quick. And here is the single crochet rounds complete, or here are the single crochet rounds complete. So I'm going to put a tiny bit of stuffing in this leg, not very much at all. And now we're going to actually close up this leg now. So fold the leg in half, single crochet through both sides once, and then you're going to decrease. I just used the regular decrease for this step, and then single crochet into that last stitch, just like that. And that is the back leg complete. So go ahead and make 2 of these. This one you'll need a pretty long length of yarn because we will be securing nearly all sides of it. So leave a length of yarn long enough to accomplish that. And like I said, repeat this once more. And here are both back legs finished. So now we're going to go ahead and sew the back legs on first, and then we will finish, or then we will sew on the tail. I actually forgot to show you how to do the nose, so we're going to do that first, just because everything else is done with the face. We might as well complete it. So I'm going to go ahead and get just a scrap of yarn. I'm actually going to use a little silver for this. The end doesn't need to be very long. I don't know if the silver goes with it, but we're going to try it. Let's go ahead and bring a length down between the nose. You're just going to stitch between the 2 stitches between the nose. And then stitch back and forth just a couple of times. This one's looking a little weird, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it out and put it a little bit lower. There's the nose. Just pull out any stuffing if you pulled any up on accident, and then we can weave these ends in. The nose really doesn't have to be perfect. And now we can add the hind legs. If you cover the sides, your cat looks finished, but we already have all the pieces made, so might as well finish it. Go ahead and thread your needle for one of these feet. Both of them are identical, so either one will work. We're just going to stitch these across, so it's going to be vertical with the body. And you can just place it on and then start sewing. It would be about 2-3 stitches away from the front legs. It really doesn't need to be perfect, just as long as the other side matches it somewhat, then you're fine. Let's go ahead and sew this down, and then once we get to the bottom of the plushies, this is between the first decrease round and the final single crochet round. That's where we're going to start sewing it across to the front leg. Then I'm going to pick up another stitch, go to the next stitch over, and then sew right next to the front leg here. And we're going to attach it down and stitch it across. So I'm going to grab this stitch here, and then go ahead and go into the next stitch, and then grab this stitch here. And there's the hind leg on one side added on. So now I'm actually going to go ahead and secure it, reinforce it just a little bit more on our original, where we originally sewed it on. And then right there at the end, I'm going to make a knot and weave it in. Just create a loop, slip your needle under it, and then weave that end in. You're going to go ahead and repeat this whole process on the other side. You want to try and stay fairly even. It really doesn't need to be perfect. Most people, you can't really see both legs at the same time, so they don't need to be exactly the same. There we go, and just one more leg to sew on and then the tail and we'll be finished. So go ahead and repeat that process on the other side, add the other leg on. And here are the back legs attached. This is how they look from the sides and then the front. Now we only have one thing left to sew on, and that is the tail. So let's go ahead and get that stitched on. So the tail is just centered in the back right here. So this is between the single crochet and that last decrease round, just like with all the other limbs. And then we're just going to single crochet around it. I like to keep it not very stuffed, so it's not necessary to stuff it more while you're sewing it on. So just go ahead and leave it the way it is. Once you finish sewing, go ahead and make a knot and weave the end in. And here is our kitty finished. Make sure to clean it up a little bit. If you have any stuffing like I do, just go ahead and pick it off. And then you can also use your needle to adjust the stuffing if there's any parts where the plushie is sitting a little strange from the sewing. Just go ahead and fix it with a needle or the back of your crochet hook. And there the kitty is complete. Look at how cute. So if you like this pattern, definitely let me know in the comments, and I would love to hear what cat colors you made. There's plenty of cats out there, so I'd love to hear about which one you made. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I know that the pattern is a little bit longer, there's quite a bit of sewing, but I do think it is worth it. Thank you all so much for watching the end of the video. Don't forget to check out the written pattern if you haven't already. It has a bunch of different color combinations in it, including the tabby and then all of these color changes here. And then also the calico, which is my favorite. The most time consuming because of all the color work, but definitely worth it. So make sure to check that out if you want to. Huge thank you to all my testers who are currently working, but once this tutorial comes out, they will be finished. They were amazing. I'm certain they will be amazing. So thank you for them. And then I will hopefully see you later. I'm not quite sure when later will be, but hopefully it's soon. Bye.